So, here we are back for part 2, as in D-U-E-X, if you ever watched Hot Shots 2. We have the axle out, brakes off, dust shield off, with some help of an oxy torch, because I don't have my spring compressor. I just heated the spring up in a couple of key spots till it glowed red hot, and it literally lost its own spring tension to the point where I felt comfortable blasting it out, the rest of it out with a torch, and no spring compressor was required. Just the handy use of an oxy torch. So yeah, busted the ball joints before. This is now free as can be. So I'm going to undo the 2 bolts in there. That'll fall out. I'll get under here and undo these, but I might try and get the nut off that end first, because this will hold that so you can actually undo it. And then we'll try and undo this, the sway bar, and then lastly we'll try and undo the camber bolt and remove the lower control arm. So stay tuned. So yeah, the upper arm's out, and I may have spent a bit of time digging out a rather disturbingly large amount of muddy, greasy dirt that was in the top of that chassis rail nook. It was like, 3 inches deep in it. And I just realised that, well, I'm an idiot. I'm going to have to lay there in a minute, you idiot. Sometimes I don't think things through. But it was so fun to scratch it out. Oh well. Yeah, before this goes back together, we're going to a wire wheel in here, and I've got to still get the bump stop off, because I have a new rubber to go on that. Plus that is really handy to have off when you put the new spring in. So yeah, we've got to keep getting some more of this apart, but I just realised that I'm an idiot. Yeah, well, carry on. So ladies and gentlemen, I've been beaten by the daylight and the lack of the correct tools. I didn't want to wreck the radius rod nut trying to undo it with the wrong stuff. So tomorrow I will just bite the bullet and buy the correct socket to undo the nut. I did get the camber bolts out, which was cool. I'll rotate this around, and yep, lower control arm bushes are stuffed. And I will stick the bolt back in there when I go to undo the radius rod, because that'll hold it from turning. Really think I'm going to be dropping the the steering out of this too. I might have to take the steering box out, which, with the engine in, is probably gonna suck quite spectacularly. Most of the suspension came apart quite nicely, especially that. I was expecting the ball joints to give up more of a fight than that, but they did not. So the shocks are stuffed, the ball joints are screwed. The brake calipers have had a kit put through them, so all I'm going to do is free them up a bit so the actual 2 halves move smoothly on each other, and give it a quick coat of chassis black. Same with that. I'll chuck that through the blaster, tape up the spline, and then give it a clean up. And same with that, put the new bushes in it, new ball joints. Those top ball joints have been replaced at some point in time, probably because it had seen a million bajillion kilometres. So they're the bolt-in ones. The factory ones are riveted in, so the bottoms are original, top ones have been replaced. And obviously the spring saddles are screwed. The brake pads have actually got quite a bit of meat on them, but I assume they're full of asbestos, so how about we not have that near the children. And I got my sway bar link out. I have to say that because I only got rubbers, and there's no reason to replace it. It was still pretty good, actually, despite everything. So yeah, that was reasonably time consuming. I knew it would be. That's why I put aside the whole weekend to try and get the front apart. I don't even know if I'll get it all done, considering how much time is involved. But realistically, the only thing that slowed me down there was that radius rod nut, which I could not undo with the tools I had. So tomorrow I'll go get the right tool, aside from me, and I'm hoping I'll be able to get it out without flaming it to death. But this is what we got to. This part 2 might be a bit shorter than part 1, but at least it wraps this side up a little bit, and then tomorrow we'll get stuck back into it and we'll give you some more videos. Yeah, so a lot of cleanup, probably during the week. Thinking about that, going, if I can get it all apart during the week, I can clean it up, those bits in between jobs, and then fit. I might take the lower control arms to a mate's workshop and have him put the bushings in for me, because he's got a press. But then next weekend it should be just reassemble and whatnots. So it should be, maybe it might take 3 weekends, you never know, but we'll get it done. So hope you enjoyed this, a little bit of ramblings, but thank you.